let's continue styling this dashboard. Now that we have our slicers, the last slicer we want to add to give our executive control is the date slicer. And we can add that by just clicking the slicer and clicking the date. And now we have this control. Now we have this option, we have this white space. And we can style this white space in a way we want. So if we go over to the paintbrush and we click on an empty part of our report pane, you can see you have options to change the page size, the alignment, wallpaper, and the background, and also some page information. So if for example, if I went and change the background color, it's at a transparency of 100%, but if I pull that down, boom, you have a black dashboard. And that actually looks a little cool, but we're gonna do something a little different for this dashboard. So we're gonna leave it white for the moment, but I want to focus the executive's eyes into just this area and have our filters separate. So we're gonna use some shapes to do that. The first thing you're going to do is go over to shape, get a rectangle, and you can see that rectangle is brought into your report pane. And I'm going to drag that rectangle over to the corner and drag it over my visuals for the moment. And you can't see the visuals unless you pull out. And we can see some and we can't see others. That's because this has its own formatting. If we go over and click this shape and we see format shape over in our format section, and we have the option to fill it, and we have the option to change the line and the transparencies. It's still blocking some things. So we can make this move from being in the front to the back. So click the shape, go over the format, and then it says here under format, send back or send backwards. So I want it to send it back. Now we can see all the visuals, and I'm just gonna kind of make those a little bit smaller so they can fit, they can fit into our little report space that we're making off. And don't worry, it doesn't look very good at the moment, but we're gonna make this look good. Now that we have everything in this little window, I'm gonna change the color to white. So let's click that, and I'm gonna go over to fill, I'm gonna go over to white. And now we have all our visuals within this little reporting window that we have. And everything still works the same if we filter, but it focuses our attention there. The next thing I want to do is I want to give this kind of like a 3D effect. I'm going to get another rectangle by clicking on this and Control C and Control V. Now I have two of these. And you can see that one is there and one is behind it. So I'm going to make this one slightly bigger. And instead of that, I'm going to make that one black. And I'm going to send that one all the way back. And now you even have more focus. And I'm going to get rid of these lines by going over to format and putting the line at 0. And the same thing for this shape. Go over, go to line, put the line at 0. Now you kind of have even more of an effect when you look at your dashboard. And let me unfilter that for a moment so we can see everything. Everything is right there in our in our executive's face. And while we even have this section over here where it's clear that he can or she can go over and filter. We're going to do even more styling. And obviously we need to make this one a little bit taller because it doesn't look very good. You know, you have to fiddle around with these things until you get kind of the right information there. Let me pull this back down. Go back up. All right. And we'll deal with the titles in a minute. Now we know that we can also have wallpaper because now we have our report window and it's very clear. Let's go over to the format. Click a white space so you make sure you're dealing with the total report pane. And let's go to, not background, but we want to go to our wallpaper. And I'm going to add an image that I have saved for a background. So I'm going to go to add image. And then I'm going to take this background. You can't see it, but it's actually behind this. And it says image fit is normal, and we can see the wallpaper I have there. But I'm going to go over and put fill, and boom. Now you have a background that is kind of cool to look at. We can't see our slicers, and we don't yet have a title. And I'm going to, now that we have like this in equal space, I'm going to bring this slicer over here. Now we have something that's looking like something we can be proud of. But let's change the type of slicers we have. Go over to format and click general. Instead of vertical, let's do horizontal, and boom, we have a better looking slicer. And this is horizontal, just means we can change it to a horizontal orientation like that. But I kind of like it this way. Let's do the same here by clicking our slicer, going over to format, going to general, choosing horizontal, and boom, this is already looking kind of cool. Let's make our black a little bit smaller, and I'm going to change this where I can see these particular dates. And all you're going to do is go to formatting like we always do. And then here we want to look at date inputs instead of black. Let's make those clear and white. Right. Let's go over and give it a title also. So to give it a title, all we need to do is add a text box, which I clicked, and I'm going to write, and you can't see it, so I'm going to highlight that text. Sometimes it's better to do this before you put in your wallpaper. I'm going to click this A to change the text color, and I'm going to change the text size to something very big. That's a little too big, but let's drag it over and see what it looks like. Now we have executive dashboard. I can highlight that, and then I can change it to where it's centered. And we have an executive dashboard that we can filter on the time period. For your homework, I want you to style this even further with your options in the format pane, and let's see where we are when you come back.